Hi, people of the internet. This is Unhinged Flower Art. Today I wanted to talk about problematic artists, or like the stereotype of the problematic artist, specifically people like Creepshow Art, Emily Artful, Holly Brown, John Bob, people like that. Not that they're necessarily all problematic, just maybe they had issues in the past with the internet, or they're currently having issues. I'm mostly referring to like Emily Artful and Holly Brown type of thing. John John Bob and Creepshow Art are a completely different thing. They're just like in a whole other league than just having a couple disputes on the internet. But yeah. So I'm just gonna talk about this. So I basically created this YouTube channel because I love art and I love talking, and I usually just kind of rant to myself. So I guess this channel is kind of like an outlet for me to rant as well, while also incorporating the thing that I love to do, which is art, right? Owning a YouTube channel makes me really motivated to do a lot of stuff. So number one, right? Optics. This is something that I was talking about with people on my Discord, or not my Discord, but I'm in a Discord server with a bunch of other artists, right? And this is from kind of a community that I kind of used to belong to. I don't really belong to it right now, but I'm still friends with them. So we were talking. Let me just go to the server. We were talking earlier about certain things that you would kind of be expected to do when you had the type of page that we did for art, right? Basically, there was like a whole thing that involved minors in our community, and that if you didn't block minors that followed your page, or if you didn't actively like look through your followers to find minors to block, then you weren't doing enough, type of thing. So we were talking about how people also lie about their age and you can't really know for sure all the time. And then we started talking about optics. This is actually something that someone else brought up, like Creepshow Art, right? She lied to everybody. I was actually a fan of hers back in 2018, 2019. I started being a big fan of her. She just got recommended on my page. I wasn't really following that many art YouTubers. I think really the only art YouTuber I used to follow was Lavender Town. I love Lavender Town so much. Oh my god, like, I'm such a big fan of hers. I love her art, I love her comics, I love everything she does. She really motivates me as a person, so if you haven't checked out her channel and you don't know about her, you should definitely go check her out if you love art. She's so helpful to young artists and people who may not receive the kind of guidance maybe that they need to grow into being artists. But anyway, we were talking about optics and Creepshow Art. You know, she would call out people on her channel a lot of the time. This is around the time that I stopped subscribing to her. She was just, I remember I left a comment on one of her videos where she was calling out like she was talking about Jeffree Star and stuff like that, and like at that point it was like, who the hell wasn't talking about Jeffree Star? So it was just kind of annoying to me, and I left a comment saying that that I was a huge fan of hers, but I'm just gonna have to be unsubscribing because like literally everything was just talking about all this internet drama, and it was just really messing with my mental health and stuff to be listening into this negativity. It gave me a lot of anxiety. I'm someone that struggles with anxiety, specifically social anxiety, So it's hard sometimes to be running an account with an online presence. Like I used to have this semi popular Twitter account. It never really reached 1K, but it was kind of close to it, so I was really appreciative of all the followers that I did have. Although, worrying about the amount of people who had eyes on me, even though I never really reached 1K, it still gave me a lot of anxiety, so I ended up deactivating to recuperate my mental health. And I think now it is very different for me because I managed to gain popularity again on Twitter, not for any particular reason. I just kind of went into this community and I started posting a lot of, stuff about this specific topic that people liked, and then people started following me because that community wasn't really that big in the first place. And then I realized, like, every time that I gain notoriety on some place, or on some online platform, it's never because it's not because I, plan on it. It's really just because I'm doing what I love in that space, and people are kind of drawn to that genuinity. So, people, crap, what am I gonna say? I'm kind of doing this like a little off script. I have like these notes, but they're not helping me much. So, you see this all the time with people who are like quote unquote like woke, and then they get outed for predatory behavior. It just happens all the time, and I'm just kind of tired of it, especially because of, it's the fact that SFW artists are seen as like ooh, they would never do this or that. They're so unproblematic queens, blah blah blah. And that's just not true, because a lot of artists, and I mean like a lot, maybe not all, they tend to usually have mental health issues. This is mostly speaking from experience. Maybe a lot of young people are maybe watching me right now. I hope not, because this channel really isn't for the youngsters. I say that like I'm old, but I want my demographic to be mostly like people around my age. I'm 19, so where was I going with this? I'm just gonna be unsubscribing because this is really damaging to my mental health. And now, like a year or two later, it's coming out that she doesn't actually stand by any of the things that she said she did. She was really against people not taking responsibility, or, she made comments about, I'm pretty sure she made like comments about CP at some point, and then it turns out that she might allegedly be keeping CP as blackmail on Emily Artful. So this is just, it's so disappointing, but I did learn a lesson, I guess, through other people's experiences, through this kind of experience together on the internet, because time and time again, sorry if you can hear background noise, that's my rabbit. He's eating right now. Time and time again, artists in our community are being outed for terrible behavior, right? And that's not to say that this is not, it's not to say that it's not justified, because stuff with John Bob and Creepshow art are definitely justified, but a lot of the times I think people don't want to admit to themselves that artists, especially artists online, are not, I guess, like, people who have their own issues going on, right? They think that they are just this perfect ubu artist that can never do anything wrong, and if you're a fan of them, they can never be criticized, which is just bogus. Another thing about the like so-called uwu artists, right? That's their whole brand and stuff. But another thing that I noticed from being in both communities is that NSFW artists get shit on all the time for just being honest about what they do, right? There's nothing wrong with drawing NSFW stuff, and if you think that there is, you can, politely leave, right? I'm not saying this to be rude, I guess. I'm just, I just don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And you know what? A lot of NSFW or SFW artists who are your so-called ooh artists actually draw that stuff in their free time. Not everything that they post online is a reflection of who they are as people. So even if they draw really cutesy stuff, that doesn't mean that they don't draw really violent stuff or really sexual stuff in their free time. You don't know if they have a secret NSFW art account that they won't tell anybody about because it ruins brands. So, don't shit on NSFW artists for being part of that community because you don't know if that NSFW artist is actually your favorite SFW artist under a secret name. And a lot of the times, people on NSFW art Twitter get canceled or doxxed and stuff for really stupid things. I know one person almost got doxxed because there was a minor that was following them, and I don't think they were aware that there was a minor following them. It's really hard to catch every single account that will follow you, even if you have like a smaller following. It's not like, many people have the time to scroll through 500 accounts to just in case they might be a minor. Oh no, what if there's a 14-year-old following me right now? Right? So a lot of the times it's like, okay, well, if you notice that there's a minor following that person, you should, either DM them or block that minor or report that account, because they really shouldn't be on there. But I digress. So I'm just very disappointed in this whole Creepshow art ordeal because I used to be such a big fan of her. And everything that I'm saying right now, I'm not judging anybody for thinking that she was the type of person she said she was, because I believed it as well. I'm the type of person that has been surrounded by toxic and manipulative people pretty much all my life, and I didn't even notice. Right? How can you? We're just on the internet. We're just trying to make sense of whatever information we are given. So this is not to judge anybody for not knowing any better, especially because so many young people online use the internet. I just don't think that artists should hide who they are, because just be honest, you know what I mean? I think it's just tiresome to pretend to be someone you're not. Just be honest. I know I got tired of pretending to be someone I wasn't. So I just kind of wanted to go on this little rant because, I'm tired of people pretending that artists online are just these do-gooders that can do no wrong, when it's just not true. And then they get outed and everybody is just shocked that people have flaws, or that people can be angry, or that people can have anxiety or be depressed. They're not perfect, they're people. Just because you see them online in kind of a under this guise of perfection, because everything that they put out there is a refined version of themselves, it doesn't mean it's true. There's tons of art that I make every single day that I don't post because I don't think it's good enough. My Instagram account isn't really just stuff that I draw on the daily. It's stuff that's going to match the aesthetic of my Instagram. Sometimes I draw stuff specifically for my Instagram. Sometimes I draw stuff specifically for my YouTube or my Twitter or whatever I have. Right? Thank you for listening, if anybody is listening. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to try to be as honest as I can on this platform so I don't get overwhelmed with pressure and anxiety. Okay. Thanks so much. See you guys.